in business, we always chase our clients. We have all had problematic clients, whether you're in the decoration industry, whether in agency, or anything else, electrical. I've had clients that have literally been like the bane of my existence. They're just a suck. They're calling you at midnight. They're paying you very little. They're just riding you endlessly for things, and they're just squeezing.
That's back to the Pareto principle. If you got this video and just jumped in here.
See episode 1.
Yeah.
Episode 1. They're just riding you for everything, and you should literally just tell them, you should give them an FOD letter and break it off, because I've done that now with pretty much all my headache clients, except this guy, and it's just one of those things where they squeeze you for everything and the value's not there. And we just, for some reason as humans, we just want to stay in the negative, right? That's just what it is. You can say the same about relationships, right? If you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, wife, husband, it's like you're just chasing that negative versus focusing on the positive. We're just instinctively mean that as humans. That's what we do. So it's, something we can talk more about in a later episode.
Okay, let's move through. Failing to tell the reasons why. The more you tell, the more you sell.
Say that again.
So failing to tell the reasons why people should do business with you. Don't assume it.
Yeah.
They don't know you, but the more you tell, the more you sell.
I'm formulating a response for that right now.
Wow, you slowed down?
I know, right?
Did you overheat?
Yeah, I did. The computer in my head slowed down.
So we know our business.
Yep.
And we forget to think in their terms. We forget to explain what our benefits are, what the decoration is, what our benefit service is, how we give a better warranty, how we give a longer, better, whatever it is. So you know it, don't assume it.
Yeah.
Right?
So
what's your process for getting that information out of your clients? Let's go that direction.
So let's
make it like a bit of a checklist. So
let's talk about it like I was interviewing a client. So if I was to sit down with a client and ask them, it's like, well, what are you looking to do? Okay. You identify the need, right? You say, okay, I'm looking to do advertising. Okay, great. Well, we focus on this. Do you have any understanding of it? And they usually go one of 3 things. They go, no, I have no idea how to do this. I don't understand it at all. Okay, perfect. I can just give you a quick explanation. 2, they say, I have a little bit of experience. I've done it myself. I haven't seen any results. 3 is, yeah, we just fired an agency. We want to see how you do it. And we'll go through all 3 of those. So the first one is just an explainer. So I say, okay, this is how Facebook ads works. Basically what we do is we take the content that you're posting on Instagram and Facebook, we're going to run that through targeting, and we can basically choose how far you want to advertise that out. So if you're located in Aurora, we're going to do Aurora and surrounding perimeter. And then we're going to deliver that ad content, and then we're going to basically take that, collect lead data, put that into our system, and then we're going to push that so they call you, convert, book an appointment, whatever that might be.
So it sounds complicated, but it is done for you. Okay?
It's a very easy process. I wish I had a whiteboard actually with me because I could draw it out, and it would literally take 3 steps to draw it out.
How about you make one of those little scribbly things you insert in the video right here, go,
That's a great idea. So as we're narrating right now, this is cutting over to another video, and it's writing currently.
No, we'll stop. We'll put that video in.
Yeah.
And we'll continue. We have the technology, bro.
Perfect. So the next step is someone who understands it. So we say, okay, cool. You understand Facebook. I don't have to explain that to you. But what we're going to add in is this, and that's putting in our own CRM with them, setting up those automations, and basically creating a system beyond what they've currently put in or don't know how to do. And then we say, okay, well, what else do you not understand? And they say, well, I don't understand how this works on my website. And it's usually just very simple, kind of like answering those questions. So the biggest commonality that I usually have is when I come in to meet with a client, they're like, my email doesn't work. I just migrated my domain. I don't know how to set up my email. And I say, give me your phone. And because usually it's on either Google Workspace or GoDaddy or something like that, it's a quick little fix, and you go, here you go. It's a really good way to prove your knowledge right there and then. And it's very simple fixes for us, but very complicated for someone else to understand because they specialize in something. Finally, is the agency level where they're like, I just jumped from another agency. Those are the agency hoppers. Those clients can be good to work with because they might have a lot of spend behind them and a lot of other aspects. But they can also,
a lot of spend is
like ad spend. They can have a lot of budget. They can be a very large result.
So many times they were blowing money out the door with no results. So we can save them some money and get results, and then go back to that budget and have even better results.
Correct. And those clients can be very good, but they can also be your FOD clients because they're going to ride you. They're going to, not see through you, but they're going to think that like, oh, I've been burned by other agencies, so what's the difference between these guys? They have a bad taste in their mouth. They're hard to work with. So those are the 3 aspects, but you want to obviously explain yourself, explain your business, what it is, versus just like, yeah, we're going to do ads and that's what's going to be a sign here, please. Because they're always going to be in doubt, not understanding the process. And I'm like that too. If I don't understand the process of what's going on, I'm very hesitant to wanting to like get in bed with someone, for example, or do business with someone. So that's pretty much it.
Not sticking with marketing campaigns that are still working. Owners tend to get bored of a campaign.
So this is the focusing on your losers versus your winners. Same thing. If you have a good campaign that's working, it's generating revenue, you should just increase the budget, right? Increase it until you see it kind of come over on itself or plateau, and then you know it's dead. If it's still going upwards, why are you going to stop it? Some people say, well, this is making some money. Okay, cool. And then they go and try and develop another campaign, and half their budget goes over there, and then it dies. And then they've wasted half of their budget on that aspect versus over there on the winner.
And then I always say, when you start any of these processes, when you work with somebody and your business is operating, then make sure that you continue to do what works. So analyze that with your agency, with your marketing partner, or internally, and don't change what's working until you've got something to replace it that's better, that's more efficient, that's more effective, that has better results.
Right.
Don't go upset the whole apple cart. Make sure that you do it in a systematic process, right? And these things are not brain surgery. These things are very systematic, very subtle. They work while you're sleeping. That's a big deal. So you got the residual effect again, and they can transform the business. We've done it, for years. There was a period of time where Google was the big thing, and then it kind of broke down and it became very tight community versus very international. So the Google AdWords weren't working at all. And we went back to what we're doing, the program you set up, and what it takes to find a PermaBoss customer is way cheaper than to have a salesperson. And you can't even compare the old school cold calling way. Can't even compare to a trade show. Trade shows are not great because you have a zillion people coming. They don't know what they're looking for, most of them.
There's very few industries that actually, where trade shows have a positive ROI on their business versus just taking that money and throwing it in advertising that's very targeted, like an omni-channel advertisement.
What the hell is omni-channel? Please?
Omni-channel, okay, we're going into fancy words now. Omni-channel is...
With all the languages, with the multicultural channels, is that the omni-channel?
Yeah, no, we're going to have to clip that out. That's a little racist there. Old white guy, right? So omni-channel is Facebook, Google, Twitter, Snapchat, WhatsApp, Waze. Every single avenue that you can deliver a message, or every single medium, as we like to call it. So like with the platforms I just listed, advertising on all of those, that's an omni-channel. So a lot of businesses might only advertise on Facebook or Google. That's single channel. There's other companies where they will go and advertise on all these platforms. You see them everywhere. You see them on Waze. You see them on Apple Maps when there's like those little advertisements that pop up. You see them on YouTube.
Well, that's like gas stations. It's like McDonald's that do all that stuff, right?
Exactly. They focus on omni-channel because they're going for impression. They want you to see them everywhere because then you're going to see them when you're, say, driving around. You see McDonald's and you're like, oh, I'm thinking about McDonald's because I've seen their ad 15 times in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, you don't even know that you've seen it.
Exactly. That's why it's called impressions, because it makes an impression subconsciously and then we see it and it recalls to the top.
Hey, it'd be really good. Put in some stats on how many impressions we're getting in our brains, in our heads every single day from all the media.
You see about 3,000 pieces of media, like advertisements, a day.
I'm willing to bet that when we do the research, that blows it. You're going to be shocked, but that's a small number.
So that data is 5 years old that I have off the top of my head.
When he started his business, when he got out of his diapers.
Yeah, I know, right? When I rolled out of elementary school, basically, and it's.
Are you going to be okay? Because I'm always dissing you. I'm always giving you a hard time about how young you are. I guess it's just jealousy.
I actually go home and cry in the evening.
Okay, perfect. That's exactly what I was trying to accomplish. Perfect.
We see about 3,000 pieces of media. Now, we don't register that. We might only see one or two that catches our eye that we actually click on and do stuff, and that's what marketers achieve for. We're trying to do that. But there's a whole other industry of marketing that we're not going to cover right now until later, where it's all impression focused. These big companies that are trying to just do subliminal messaging, they're trying to target your subconscious so that when you see them in Canadian Tire or Home Depot, you're just drawn to that logo or that item because you've been seeing it and it's been
so that's how all fast food, that's how all consumer products, that's how all tobacco, that's how all alcohol. I just watched a show the other day. It was phenomenal about how light beer came about.
Yeah.
And then it was Michelob, and then was it Coors? No, Bud. And how the second one in was the one who ended up owning the space. But they bought every single form of advertising, every single sport. It was nonstop. Light beer wasn't even an issue. It wasn't. It was diet beer, really.
Yeah.
But that was all impressions based.
Yep. And a lot of that, like what they're driving for, That's really expensive ad buying because you have to go through so many different mediums. You have to pay multiple agencies or agencies that are very specified for this. The cost is way higher. So it's not necessarily fully achievable with smaller businesses, so to say. You have to say,
it's not effective. If you're not in every,
it's not effective.
If you're not Apple or Esso or one of these multinational, multi-brands.
Yeah, if you wanted to get involved in omnichannel, you need to, like, if say, for example, a small business's marketing budget might be anywhere between $20,000 and $30,000, right? If they're a business that make under $1 million, they might only go 5-10% because it's their money. They're treating it like their money. It's hard for them to cough that up. Bigger businesses that say, okay, I have $50,000 to $500,000 in budget, they're going to these big omni-channel agencies and paying this mass amount of money and all this additional ad spend and commission on ad spend, all these different ways to these agencies because they'll put that out, but they're going to see that return on a different way than like a small business would. We're focused on leads and conversions and getting emails and phone numbers. They're focused on, okay, cool. If I put all this money out there and I see, a 2x return on it or a 0.5x return on it, I'm happy.
I don't know if they can even measure that because Nike just has a percentage, Coke just has a percentage of their budget for that. Mm-hmm. Big alcohol, big tobacco can't anymore, but pharma companies, they just budget it and then they need to buy it. That's, by the way, it's a real thing that in Q4 when your ad spend goes up, it's because you're competing with giant companies who need to get rid of money to get it next quarter. Yeah. So what happens is there's only so many positions, so many spots to place an ad in, and then my widget advertising goes through the roof because I'm competing with, like a hair loss pill or an allergy pill or whatever the hell they're selling. Mm-hmm. But they have these huge budgets, and it's all for the branding, etc. Exactly. So I want to wrap up on something else. We covered that?
Yep, we covered that.
Okay, so focus on the intended customer and no one else. Have you ever read a sales ad or seen or known somebody and not had the message? Like you got to make sure you know who you're talking to, and you got to make sure you know what you're talking about so that there's that match.
Yeah. A lot of businesses just project. They're not thinking of who their customer avatar is, right? So if you're
a customer, what?
Avatar. Okay, an avatar is someone
blue person that buys your product?
I wish. It might be. Who knows? At the end of the day, as an avatar is who we draw up in our minds, who is going to be the fictitious customer that we're advertising to. So if you're a plumber, for example, it might be, a family, it might be a husband and wife or whatever.
It might be just a woman.
It might be a woman, might just be a man, whatever that might be. It's that person that you paint the picture of, you give them a name, what are they interested in? You're thinking about all these different aspects, right? So, for example, is like Subaru, the car manufacturer, they're targeting outdoor people. So they're kind of going in their minds, it's a man or a woman, outdoor. They're wearing Patagonia, because I don't know why everyone wears Patagonia these days. They're wearing Patagonia. They like hiking gear.
That's a conversation. You don't know why? You're talking about marketing. You know why people are wearing Patagonia? Because they did a brilliant job. But anyways, that's another topic.
Yeah, it's another thing. They wear Patagonia. They wear Mountain Equipment Co-op. Whatever that might be is they're painting that picture and those interests and like what they do. What do they do in their spare time? What are their interests? Where do they go? Where do they live? What are the postal codes they're in? Right? So you can go really in depth with this, but now you have this avatar, and now this avatar I take for marketing, and when I have to do Facebook or Google,
then the message is like really specific.
Right in there. Yeah. And then now when we have things like AI, I can say, here's my customer avatar. I'm selling this. I want you to write copy based on these things of a hook point being like, something that grabs your attention right out of the gate.
Pain,
benefit, feature advantage benefit, stuff like that, right? It writes out a piece of copy, because we can do it with AI now, and then pushes that to an advertisement. And then we take that advertisement, that messaging that's very targeted and focused, and then talks about it, and then pushes that to the client. So an example for me that I'll give is my car, say my car has a flat tire, right? If I go on Google and I look mechanic near me, and I see an advertisement pop up, and it just says, replace your tire now, or replace like a free wheel repair with an oil change. Okay, cool, I'm gonna go get an oil change, I need to do it, I need that wheel fixed anyways, perfect. That's exact messaging of what I'm looking for. But then a messaging that wouldn't align for me is someone's like, get your new Bridgestone tires. Well, I don't need new tires, I need to fix my current one or patch my current one because there's a flat. And that's the difference. You're obviously projecting a statement, but how specific you put it is how you can convert that and how you're gonna be able to.
So another way is addressing the pain points of your client. So if you're a decorator, using, let's say, the Perm Boss decorations, you have an entirely new way of showing something different to the clients, being different than all the people around you, being a lot quicker, doing a full front, whatever the case may be. So you want to solve problems. You have to identify what the problems they have. And then going back to, I guess, maybe today's talk at some point or the previous one, there's something called a data trust, right? So when you have your phone, generally everybody has it with them all the time, then it goes to the night table, gets charged. So the data trust, Apple, Android, Google, whatever, they know when you're sleeping. They know where you're walking in a mall. They know that you're a Starbucks guy, I'm a McDonald's guy. They know you're American Airlines, I'm Air Canada. They know I like Caribbean, you like Asia. They know that you're a Lexus guy, I'm a Mercedes guy, all that stuff.
That's your advertiser ID that follows you around pretty much right there.
It knows everything about you. So when you create an avatar and you find you're getting success at that, then it's so easy for the algorithms in the different social media platforms to find exact other people who are very similar to you. It might be Jane, it might be Joe, but they have all the buying characteristics, all the signals. They go into Canadian Tire 1.2 times a month. They spend average 20 minutes in there. They visit Starbucks three times a week, and they know that you spend $14 every time you go. So that becomes such a precise target, and that person is so likely to do exactly what you're doing because they have so many characteristics. That's pretty simple. The disadvantage is what we're seeing, that you just get more of what you like all the time, which gets you away from everything, which gets us less rounded or whatever you want to say. But that is the whole idea of what we're trying to do. We're trying to find out who your avatar is. It's part of the process to know, and then to hone and expand upon that.
Yes.
You want to close off with anything?
I think that's pretty much it. If you're going to write a message or you're going to do an advertisement, make it specific to who you're targeting. If you just announce, we're a mechanic shop, okay, that's great. You're a mechanic shop. I could look at your sign.
Yeah, but for Caterpillars?
Exactly.
Or for racing cars or for motorcycles?
But if you say, you went on there and you say, winter's coming, change your tires, well, there's people who are looking for winter tire changeovers. Great. You've now made a message that's specific. So the more specific you can make it, the better. And get that targeting down, and it just takes practice. It takes that testing that we talked about. And that's the way you can make a campaign successful.
We're trying to get the right message. So there's no formula to get it right out of the gate, hit the home run. You have to test several of them, and then each one's going to have some kind of results very cheaply, like super economically. You start seeing results, and then you start eliminating this one, and then you work on these three, and then you're always working to improve. So there's a system to it. Obviously, we enjoy that. We love it. And
that's pretty much it. Just keep working away, and that's what we're the experts in what we know, so you can be the experts in what you know.
And I always like to say, I can't fly the plane for you, but actually, you're a pilot.
I can actually fly that plane.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I just want to bring that up. Learn something new about Brandon today.
There you go. So I'm going to do a little shtick here for like the Instagram and YouTube. So follow, subscribe on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you might be seeing this on. Have a great day.
Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.
There you go.
Okay, now